Hi everyone, it's me Darlene. You're on a different side. I want you to be able to see how I'm cutting things. We're going to be making, or at least you are going to be making, a quilt top, a Christmas quilt top with wonky Christmas trees. I've had this idea for a little bit and I tossed it around in my head, and I talked about it in a previous chat video and gave you some ideas and told you I might change my mind. I might do none of it. I'm going to do some of it, and I'm changing my mind, I think, in a cool way. We're going to make different size trees in different blocks, and after you see the different sizes, you can make the ones you want, or you can do what I'm going to do. My plan is to at least make one like big quilt block, and depending on the size quilt you need, you could do like a bunch of those big ones and do it like 3 across or 4 across by 5 long or whatever. I don't know if I'm going to invest the time in an entire quilt top because I have other things I want to show you. So let's just get started. This is going to be a little series, and we'll see how it goes as time goes on. But it's not going to take too long. I just, it's not like a once a month thing. We're going to, get through it. The first thing I'm going to do is we're going to cut a Christmas tree template. This piece of cardboard, I have this nice cardboard that I get layer cakes on. You get a cereal box, any kind of box, something like that, thin enough that you can cut with a rotary cutter. And I do have a crafty rotary cutter. I don't know where it is right now, but I got it at Dollar Tree for $1, and it's great for, well, when it was $1, it's great for paper crafts. This one is 4 inches this way by 5.5 this way. All you need to do after you have your rectangle cut, you're going to find your center at the top. So it's 4 inches, so my line is, 2 inches in, 2 inches in. That's my center. If you're off a little bit, that's okay, because this is wonky Christmas trees. Now I'm just going to take my ruler, and I'm putting it at this corner. This is why I have you here, and to that line that I drew at the top. So corner to center. Whoops. There we go. Now on this, whoops, same here. It doesn't matter. I know this is my center because I just cut there. So I'm just going corner to center. I don't need any lines to do that. Just corner here to center there. Now I have my little Christmas tree template. I'm going to do 3 blocks at a time. I am going to do some stack and whack. I wasn't going to because I thought it would be cool if every block would be different, but that's a little bit more time consuming, so 3 of the same I think will be good. And then my goal is to make some maybe smaller trees in the next video. I just edited and I had a little oopsie, so I'm going to do something out of order, but that's okay. And I'm also trying to straighten this because you look like you were at a slant, so I don't know if this is better. I am using my scrap pack. I have these on eBay right now. The link is in the description of this video. You can go buy one if you want. They are about 10 by 8. And I call it 10 this way because a lot of the prints are directional. And they're up and down this way. And so the width is cut this way. So they're 10 by 8. Now I try to cut like 10 1/4 by 8 1/4. Sometimes I'm cutting on the fold. Sometimes I cut just, I'm not making sure my ruler is on the line. That's how I can get them all cut because it goes a little bit quicker that way. And my goal is to use all of these in Christmas projects. And I have one so far where I just took, I don't remember how many of these squares, but we just sewed them together. And I have a playlist for this series, so you'll see that other quilt top that we made. Okay, so I pulled 3, and this is where I made a little boo-boo. I pulled 3 of the prints, and I took 3 different colors. I have a blue, a red, a green, of these 10-ish by 8-ish, and it was like this. You just stack them. You don't have to worry about anything being perfect. You do not have to trim these to exactly 10 by 8. We're going to trim after. But when I originally recorded this, These were one piece, but I made a cut already. So I'm just putting them back together and pretend that they're not cut yet. And I'm going to tell you that, you know, all your directional prints are facing you, like they're facing me. And so we want to cut this way. So I turned this, and then I cut about 2 inches. I cut about 2 inches off. And we're just putting that aside. So that's just the 3 prints. That's going to be the bottom. Our trunk is going to be in the center there. Take those away. And now we're left with just the top part. And now we're going to take our little Christmas tree. And let's see, I'm on the 4 and the 14. So number 9 is my center. So it's 4 inches this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4 goes right there. Okay, and I hope that's enough that we don't lose our point. It should be, I think. I do think. Well, we're going to find out, right? The first cut we're making is this side. I'm right-handed, I guess, so I think I like to start on the right side. I'm just putting the ruler right on top of the tree. I don't care about, anything other than that. Even I kind of want the tree a little bit centered, but you don't even have to. It can be wonky, and I've done them before where I didn't care. But at this point, I'm between these 4 spaces, and it's pointing to the 9, which is my top. So I'm just going to go alongside of this, and I'm going to make a cut. Pulling that aside, a little piece right there. If you cut into your tree, that's not a big deal. Now I'm just going to try to hold that down there. If it comes up, you just put it back. Now I'm putting my ruler just to the side of the tree. My cardboard is just thick enough that I can feel that. And I'm taking this away. Now I'm going to cut right there. Like that. Now these guys, I'm just going to fold that over. I'm just going to cut on the fold. Like that. And those go here. We take the top tree off. We put it underneath. Now we're just going to put these pieces back together. We're also going to have a trunk. Let's worry about the trunk after. We're taking this and putting it onto this one. And you're going to, you can put this bottom piece down a little bit. It's going to make it more even when we open it up. First you can line it up, point to point, but then down a little bit. And you're going to come in up here-ish. I've done this in another video. I even drew the line for you. If you want, you can draw about 1/4 of an inch in. That looks like 1/4 of an inch to me. And you can make your line. Now I'm on a dark piece of fabric here, but the line starts way up here, see? You're going to hop on. That's probably not quite 1/4. Doesn't matter, because we're going to be trimming after the fact. But you don't start here on the red. You start here and go down. Let me go do that. Okay, you probably can see a little bit better now. See where I started? Up here, way up here. And then just 1/4 of an inch all the way down-ish. I'm going to open, finger press. And this is my little ironing mat. It's just 100% cotton batting. It was a little scrap piece. I absolutely love it. Has to be 100% cotton though, unless you want to cover it. Okay, oh no, those stay there. Now this blue, we're doing this one next. Now at this point, I'm going to trim this just like that, evenly, in that direction. I edited again, so I'm starting where I left off. We have this, and I'm going to put this piece here. And just fold it over, and you can just put it anywhere as even as you want, and sew 1/4 of an inch. You can see that it's not even here at the top. I could have, on purpose, slid this piece up a little bit when I connected, and that would have been more even. But I know the majority of you are going to have this not even here, not even on the bottoms, and I want you to be okay with that. So that's not even here, and we're just going to trim at this point. I'm not even going to trim the top. I'm just going to trim this part, and then we're going to put the other blue piece. So we want our 2 blue pieces. I guess my little Santas are, yeah, in this direction. So let me just trim the bottom of this, and I'm just going to, you know, I'm not going for a size here. I'm just trying to make the line even the best you can. That's even. And then I'm going to just wait there. Now for trunks, you have choices. You can use your Christmas prints if you want. I'm going to get some wood grain. I have some wood grain fabric, so I'm going to use that. And I have different colors that I could possibly use. I could use this golden, the brown, the little bit darker. I could use some gray, and there's even black. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with the black. Let me pull that out. I cut my strip about 1.25 inches. You can cut individual little tree trunks or whatever, and they can be different sizes too, different widths. And I don't know. I don't know if the grain is supposed to go that way. It doesn't matter. This is all make-believe. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. Do I really want the little black? Yeah, I think I'm going with it. I'm going to like that. So this one, it's about 1.5 inches. We just want it taller than this. Now, these parts too, you know how we cut the 2-inch strip? Well, that's going to be the same for these 3 blocks. But maybe another time we could have cut higher and make a little tree, and so that the tree would be far away. So I don't know. We're going to play with those things maybe. But for now, I'm just taking this and I'm making it longer than this. And I think we cut 2 inches, so I'm just going to put it there. Probably cutting 2.5. I don't know. I just want it longer. And I'm going to sew these 3 pieces together like that. So I have something that looks like this, and I'm going to be trimming. But when I sewed my first one on, I just laid it on there and sewed. And then I opened it. And then when I turned and put my next one on, I lined it up to match on top of the other one. These are the things you line up, these 2 pieces, and then you sew. Now, it doesn't matter if it's crooked, and it doesn't matter if you sewed in a way that the trunk is wider at the top or wider at the bottom. Obviously, if you have a directional print, you don't have the option of turning it. So whatever you end up with is what you end up with. Now, this is going to this, so I need to trim only here for right now. So I'm going to make that straight. And this might be very curved, so just trim it so it's straight. Don't worry about how much you're losing. And it's much wider. We love wiggle room, so you can put your little tree trunk to the side if you want. I like it kind of centered. And yeah, and it's wider because we lost fabric here in these seam allowances. So I'm just going like this. I'm good with that. Sewing right there. And when you have something like a border or whatever, it likes to pop up. So what I do is first I'm laying it down with the border. I'm calling it the border. Let's call it the trunk piece, the trunk strip. I'm laying the trunk strip down, and I have that like this. And then I'm taking my iron and I press to set first. Then I push this guy back. And that's going to keep him laying down flatter. So I push him back, and that's the way I'm going to press that. Now that the seam is pointing up, it lets this lay down flatter. So I like it that way. All right, let's see what we have. It ends up not being too big. And I'm going to cut smaller even than what I have in case you have generous seam allowances. So let's see. Point the tree to a number. I'm on the 10. The center of my trunk is like on 10. And I think I'm going to cut 1, 2, 3, 4. How about we trim down to that? Because then I'm pretty sure everybody will get it. So we're going to trim it to 8 inches wide, and then probably to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. We'll see how tall we get. Let's start with this, 8 inches wide. So put your tree point to the 10, your trunk to the 10, and you're going to start 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm cutting on the 14 because I started on 10. And then 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm cutting on the 6. Like that. Now we're going to turn this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we all can probably get 7. If not, because I have a pretty generous 7 inches there. So I'm just going to decide to cut a little off both. So I'm cutting on the 6 and on the 13. So I think that's a cute size. I'm not happy with my black trunk though. I don't know if it will show. Maybe in the others, or maybe the others I can. Maybe it will. This is a dark one. So other than that, I absolutely love it. Now we have 2 more to make. And so what did we say? This is 8 by 7. 8 wide, 7 tall. I like it very much. Let's do another one. So now I'm taking the next 2 colors, and I'm going to do a little bit of this off camera. I got that, this, and this. And like before, I'm going to sew this here first, and then I will sew this one there. Yes, I was able to get it more even this time on the bottom. And when I do the next one, I'm going to show you. But what it is, when we sewed the green tree, when we sewed the tree to this block, you're like this, and you want to slide the tree down a little bit. And then when we put this block on, we want to slide this up a little bit. And I'll show you. But let's get the trunk on here. I'm going to, once again, cut a strip of the black. Okay, this is the way they go. And I'm going to put a black trunk just like before. I'm going to trim here, sew it all together. And then we'll start the next block and I'll show you the little trick I'm talking about. So this guy has a trunk that's much wider, and I trimmed a little bit more on this end, so it's a little bit shorter. So we have these 2 things now. Okay, so I'm going to put the last one together, and I'm going to show you again. I'm going to the sewing machine. I'm going to put my Christmas tree here. And I am going to slide the tree down a little bit. So instead of the bottom point being right with that point, I'm going to slide down. I can explain to you why we're doing that. It's because we want the fabrics to connect at the 1/4 inch mark, 1/4 inch in. But all you need to do is, like, see, this bottom point of the tree is just a little bit past this. When you do that, then just start up here, like I said, and sew 1/4 inch all the way down. And when you're ending, you should be coming out like right about here where those 2 pieces are touching, right there. I don't even know what I'm showing you. Right there. And then this is what it looks like. I got that little tiny piece that I can trim off. Don't worry about this. It's not something you have to learn. I just like to say it because I like to know why something works the way it does. And so I'm just letting you know, if you want it to come up a little bit more, you got to get the fabrics to connect right where your needle is either hopping on or hopping off, which is about 1/4 of an inch in. So you want your pieces to be matching up at that 1/4 inch mark. And in this case, it made sense to slide the tree part down a little bit. Now we're going to add this part. Oh, I'm going to take that little part off right here. And I can do that with my scissors, but if you want to do it with your ruler, you're just going to line it up with the tree and then just continue to cut up like that. That's gone. So with this, I'm going to be folding it this way. And now, to make it match where the 1/4 inches are intersecting, you're gonna, instead of sliding this down, you're going to slide it up a little tiny bit. Just a little bit, like that. And you can see, oh, maybe a little bit more than that. Just that little part right there. And now I'm going to sew all the way down. And you can see how much straighter it came out. I kind of like this. I like the Santa with the snowmen. So now I'm just going to do the trunk again. I got my 2 green pieces. I'll cut a piece of trunk. Gonna sew, trim those 2 edges, trim the whole thing to 8 by 7, and we'll be done. I'm not convinced that these stand out enough. I don't know, maybe it's cool that they don't. You know, it doesn't scream Christmas trees, but we've got more to make. I will probably, I don't know, I don't really want to commit to a whole quilt top, so I won't say yet, but I definitely want to make some other size tree blocks, or maybe even some other kind of block. And I'm thinking of piecing it like we do, you know, when I make my Scrappy quilts, like, you know, putting some pieces but then filling in with just other pieces that we don't have to manipulate and turn into Christmas trees. But this is a cool way to do stack and whack. I like it. If your sizes come out a little bit too big or too small, that's okay. You're learning by watching me with the mystery blocks and how we put those together. And you're learning that you can turn any block into any size you need. So you can always put sashing, whatever. And the sashing, the borders, they don't have to be the same size. Remember when I did the rag quilt with the big stitch quilting? Sometimes the sashing on one block would be like 2 inches, and another one it would be 1. It's whatever we want. So here's our first 3 pieces. I'm going to take a close-up at the end of this video. It's coming right up. And please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back with part 2 soon. Bye.